After 2 years and 15 unsuccessful operations for his capture, Klement Balili surrendered to police in the presence of his lawyer and the General Police Chief, R.D. Valio. The surrender of Klement Balili has brought about clashes between politicians, Prime Minister Rama calling it fake news and suggesting that it comes as a result of police operations, while President Meta considers it a result of international pressure. Kosovo is now equipped with a customs point at the port of Durrës, which will significantly reduce the costs for businesses in the country. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, the 15th of January 2019. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Oliver, and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country translated into English. Klement Balili, notoriously wanted by many states in the international community for drug trafficking and nicknamed by the Greek media as the Balkan's Escobar, has been arrested. As of today, Albanian justice has succeeded in finding one of the most wanted people in the country, and it does not stop here, stated Interior Minister Sandor Leschi in a press conference at the Interior Ministry. Klement Balili is now being held in custody along with his two lawyers, Bjaftar Rusi and Theodori Solaku. The information surrounding his arrest was published by former Prime Minister Sali Berisha on Facebook, and according to a comment left on his page by a citizen on the social media platform, Balili has now been sent to the Serious Crimes Prosecution. Since May 2016, Klement Balili has been declared wanted by a decision in the Athens court, which has imposed upon him a prison arrest security measure. Balili managed to escape his shackles among strong suspicions that operations were being carried out by accomplices and collaborating with the trafficker. Balili is also wanted by the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, but so far there is no official information pertaining to this fact. Balili's lawyer, Theodori Solaku, explained why he decided to surrender himself today, more than 2 years after the initial police investigation. Klement Balili's lawyer, Solaku, claims that a letter from Greece has arrived concerning his client, which is the reason for his surrender now as opposed to 2 years ago when the arrest warrant was signed. In the moment when the arrest warrant was released, there was no concrete evidence against him, but rather a desire for his arrest. Meanwhile, 2 years ago, the prosecution requested evidence from Greek authorities because the file had no evidence even though it showed an arrest warrant. Now that we have received a written letter containing the facts, the procedural acts for investigation are towards completion. Therefore, Klement Balili decided to surrender. Even Solaku gave another argument about Balili's failure to surrender 2 years ago. He stated, "What would he do in these 2 years? The state would pay for food, sleeping, providing guards to keep him in prison. The costs of holding a prisoner is about 50 euros per day. However, the importance of this is secondary." According to Balili's lawyer, his client has never avoided the justice system. The surrender of Klement Balili has brought about opposite interpretations for the incident to the foreground among politicians. Prime Minister Rama, in his reaction to the incident, has called it a major step in the fight against organized crime. The head of government has not been hesitant to criticize the media, calling it fake news once again. The media point out that Klement Balili stood at police doors after a stroll in the pedestrian area of Delvin. This is untrue. This is a result of one of the most sophisticated police operations that have been ongoing for months. Balili's surrender is a successful accomplishment. Klement Balili is now behind bars. This is a big step in the fight against organized crime with a meaningful outcome for others. I'd like to congratulate Minister Sandor Leschi, the state police, and the state intelligence services. As for Democratic Party, Klement Balili's surrender is considered to be a managed and controlled handover. In a media statement from the Blue headquarters, Deputy Head of the Democratic Party, Edi Paloka, said that Klement Balili will also apply the same methods to free himself from all charges, just as in the case of Samir Tahiri. Klement Balili's involvement in drug trafficking from behind bars is not a major step against crime, but a managed and controlled delivery of the Balkan embassy to the pact supporting Edi Rama. With the surrender of Klement Balili, Edi Rama is implementing the same sophisticated scheme as he did with Samir Tahiri, including a check delivery, surface investigation, and release of heavy drug trafficking charges, said Paloka. President Ilir Meta also spoke about Klement Balili's arrest. I praise the arrest of Klement Balili, a person with very serious problems regarding the law. Meta said in a statement to the media from the city of Leja, I would like to thank not only law enforcement agencies, but also our international partners for the overall pressure that was applied in order to achieve this result today. Students in Durrës have followed the example of protesters at the University of Tirana by barricading themselves in the faculties of the University of Alexander Moisiu. The escalation of protests was decided upon at the university's student council as a tactic to convince the government to meet the 8 requirements established over the past 2 months. They have stated that they consider the university instruction essential, however claim that the system of education and how it operates is of higher importance, thus demanding the abolition of the higher education law. Meanwhile, students at the University of Elbasan remain divided over effective tactics. Many of them have returned to their classes to continue instruction, while others continued the isolation methods of the protest. The students have warned that their next step will be total confinement. As for the students who attend their classes, protesters claim that they have fallen prey to the pressure and fear put upon them in order not to lose the academic year. Even students at the University of Escobar have continued the protest, while in Vlor and Gjirokastër the majorities have resumed attending lessons. Starting today, the Republic of Kosovo has its own customs office located in the port of Durrës. Prime Minister Edi Rama was present at the opening ceremony of this customs office and stated that there will be unified control of the office as well as a certification stamp recognized by the 2 states. Rama stated that there will be a completely fluid border between Albania and Kosovo starting this spring, comparing it to the border between France and Germany. Moreover, he expressed an interest in replicating such a system with both Macedonia and Montenegro. He stated, in the spring, we will have a completely different procedure, a totally fluid border just like the border between France and Germany, or Italy and Switzerland. We want this system to be established with North Macedonia as well. In addition, we have proceeded to negotiate with our contacts and we will set up a similar system with Montenegro. Anyone who tells us that border integration with the Skagen area is a mean to create a greater Albania is wrong. I'd like to repeat that the idea of a greater Albania is fiction and only propagated by our opponents and enemies in history. There is no such thing as a greater Albania. There is, however, an Albanian nation that has rights to self-determination as part of the same system of coexistence and organization that we see elsewhere. If they want to continue this discussion, we are ready for it. It is our public dream and not a secret one. We trust that a nation with a dream shared by its people can be realized, but there will be no realization of this. Rama went on to say, it is our right to have a fluid border so as not to be dragged through the absurd and incomprehensible controls and queues currently present. Icy conditions as a result of snowfall are causing difficulties of movement for the residents of Escobar. Tuesday morning alone witnessed 30 people at the emergency room for injuries related to ice slipping. In 5 days, over 200 people have received medical help at the Escobar hospital for various bone fractures. The most affected have been the elderly, but also many youth have experienced an incident. Even in Kukës, residents are familiar with the sight of snow, but ice on the streets have sent over 6 people to the hospital per day to bodily injuries. Meanwhile, many villages remain isolated in the mountainous areas of Kukës, Shkodër, Dibra, and Korça due to the blockade of snow and icy roads, and several schools were reportedly not opened due to weather conditions. And that's the news from across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me once again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. And once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and have a great night.